Central Bank of Nigeria reported a profit after tax of 38.8 billion naira in its 2024 audited financial accounts. Big recovery from the 1.15 trillion loss that it incurred in the fiscal year 2023. You can see a number of the other metrics there. Total assets up 33%, interest income, but big interest expense bill there, 4.9 trillion. So it's net interest income at 122 billion. But again, profit after tax coming in at 38.8 billion naira. As I've said, Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu would be joining us to give his thoughts not only on the CBN's performance, but also on where we're seeing oil prices now. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Good to have you on the show.
You came back from Washington celebrating the good news. Now,
and then oil
is tanking. But I mean, we've said it several times here that whenever oil sneezes,
we catch a cold.
Nigerian economy catches cold. And I said several times that it's so difficult, it's so easy to analyze Nigerian economy. You just look at the price of oil.
Right. Yeah.
You look at the price of oil. So all the platitudes we have been having for the last 2-3 months, it's just been upturned by this issue of now the medley of Trump's policies.
Yeah.
And then the OPEC plus, the kind of politics they're doing now. I saw in your before I came on air, I saw the analysis of the OPEC play. I think they're pushing about 411,000
Yeah, they're adding more oil to the...
And, when I was looking at the oil digest, I was just wondering why, people couldn't explain why Saudi Arabia is pushing these volumes into the market. Yeah. And everybody's just pushing that. I don't know whether maybe everybody's under the juju of Trump. Trump's this tends to, touch everybody, but that's where we'll face. An economy, a budget of 2025 that was predicated on $25 per barrel and over 2 million barrels per day. Now it's tanking. We're not even met our production levels of that 2 million barrels per day. Yeah. It's an expectation by this end of year 2025. And we're thought to make it up by the price increase. But now price is coming to below $60 per barrel. So, it means our deficit is going to just get a bigger, and then we'll go back to the days
of borrowing.
Yeah. And it speaks so many things also. And from 1956, when oil was found in the library, I told the Reuters that all the Nigerian development plans have always been, the motive always be to diversify the economy based on Nigerian economy away from oil. Yeah. And everybody does that. And then once oil prices move up, everybody junks that policy into the drawer, and then when oil prices dry away,
bring it
up again, But I mean, the government have been pushing lately about, expanding the income base, the tax base, and the non-oil income. And we thought about the non-oil exports. We thought about the issue, limiting factors. I saw the NEPC people and the Minister of, I think his investments and stuff, celebrating the growth in non-oil export. But the issue is, I said, go to the roots and find out what are the limiting factors. These exporters are still passing through the eye of a needle to make sure they push their exports out.
Okay, non-oil exports, right?
Non-oil exports.
Right, yes.
And so I'm just saying that we have been talking about expansion of non-oil exports, but nobody goes to address the fundamental problems that they have. The problems remain the same season out of season. Yeah. And that's that. So I've read so many analyses. I've read so many things about the direction, the impact of that, and they're all scary. Yeah. Notice, I don't know, I don't want to, propaganda such on the air here because I don't want to cast panic.
I know.
But the truth is this, that oil contributes about 90% of our export earnings. Yeah. All our dollars literally come from oil. Right. If oil prices tank, volumes tank, you know what's going to happen to the exchange rate stability that we have now. Yeah. And that, I guess, brings me into the next story here, which is
CBN's performance 2024. Yeah.
And I start with the bigger issue there. The first thing I want to say is that when even in the normal private sector, when you have a management team that's running very well, it always shows up where in the figures. Right. That the figures represent the sum total of the policies that the executive management day to day. Right. Whether in the marketing place or the operation place and so on and so forth, you see the result in the figures. And that's what they are seeing in the Central Bank of Nigeria now in this report they published. And then, but the first thing I want to talk about is the transparency.
Yeah.
The first thing is that before we used to say, what are CBN audited accounts?
I remember you saying that.
Yes.
Yep.
What are CBN audited accounts?
Yep.
So we commend the current team there that they have been able to push out this report on a timely basis.
Yep.
And it's 2024 has come out on a timely basis, which is good.
Yeah.
The other thing that I can push out on based on transparency is audited by 2 of the big 4.
Yeah.
KPMG and Ernst & Young.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was no qualification or no issue of material impact or notification brought to the Board of Governors of Central Bank. So that's also commendable to the management of CBN. Now, the other high point there, of course, you see, from loss position in 2023, it's come to a profit position in 2024, about 39 billion, which is very, very, very good. Now, total assets, increased. External reserves increased.
Yep.
Of course, you know why.
You came and talked
about
it.
That the other day. Interest income and expenses, you mentioned that before on your own rider, the interest expenses went up. You know why also, because of that. You see, a lot of people tend to forget that Central Bank is also a bank.
It's a bank.
It's a bank.
Yes.
It's a banker to the federal government of Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's a banker of last resort to all the banks in Nigeria.
That's right.
And he holds the country's balance sheet, really. So a lot of people don't know that. But so that's basically that. Loans and receivables are another key thing. It fell. But what's happening there is that CBN had left all this issue of direct intervention. They used to do all these borrowers thing they have been carrying their books. And left it for the banking system to carry now. Yeah. And so that's why that actually fell.
Okay.
So key point, as I said, return to profitability. They have gone back to the profitability, which is the sum total of the things, initiatives, or the positive initiative the current team they have done. External results have grown also. We know the things have happened. Apart from the issues of the short-term swaps that were eliminated, that has helped to grow.
They cleared the backlog.
They cleared the backlog.
Yep.
And of course, I thought about the audit compliance. Now, each time I talk about things like this, I always ask, who CBN audit help?
Right.
Who help?
Can you eat it?
Can you eat it? And so for our viewers and for Nigerian citizens, what's in it for you? The fact that external reserves pushed up, they have unrealized reserves of almost, it grew by about 225% to about 11.28 trillion. Yeah. It tells you that Central Bank has the capacity, as we have seen over this period, of trying to maintain the stability of the currency.
Rates,
Remember how it used to oscillate? There were many, a lot of economists, a lot of experts has propagated this that is moved to 5,000 naira to $1 and so on and so forth. But those didn't happen. And we hope and praying that this oil situation now doesn't make their predictions come true.
That was my next question for you.
Come true.
Yeah.
Of course, the inflation and interest rates, due to issues of exchange rates, we think that that may be impacted. Banking sector confidence is very important.
Yeah.
When the transparency in the figures, it tends to elicit more confidence in the banking system. And so this thing they have done also will help in encouraging both domestic and foreign investment. People believe more in the figures. The CBN accounts are no longer, OPEC.
Right.
Used to be like, used to be suspect. And then, of course, I thought about the reduction in intervention spent in lending for SMEs, and then to more market-driven credit system, apart from the one that we had before, which may impact income and employment. And of course, the CBN has to give 80% of their profits to federal government of Nigeria.
Yep.
And so that's fiscal support to federal government of Nigeria from the profit they've made of about 39 billion. So that also helps. And I thought about transparency and accountability from the beginning.
But you already touched on this. But my final question for those, just to link the two together, do you see more interventions on the CBN going forward with with oil going down? How do you see things in the near term now?
Again, I said, I will sit down, if I'm in a position, I'm going to sit down in one room and look at what's happening. Yeah. Because, remember during the Buhari regime, one of the things we had against them was the fact that they were holding the exchange rate at the low rate level and burning our reserves to defend it. Yeah. Now, the realism is the fact that we can't defend this. Right. The oil incomes revenues, which you say, are create to our external reserves and support our dollar exchange rate, is not coming, reducing. Massive decisions have to be taken as to where the direction of the naira-dollar exchange rate. Yeah. And it doesn't have to hang at the 1,600 psychological level.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how to be done. Instead of going out there to go and borrow money to defend the currency. Yeah.
We will see how things play out. Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu, always a pleasure having you to break these things down for us. Thank you so much, sir.